Welcome back, y'all, to Good Game Reviews. Here to do another Good Game Review. We're doing the Panthers at the Patriots. Preseason game number 3. Already in the books, already wrapped up. Not a lot going on in this game. Very, very slow game. If you don't like low scoring games, this probably wasn't the one for you. 3-10. I don't know if that was just good defense on the Panthers and the Patriots part, or it was just poor offense, or could have been both. Really, it could have been both. Just looking at it, a lot of penalties, but I'll get into that later on. First thing I wanted to talk about was Jarrett Stidham. Watching him so far in these preseason games, he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good. The first 2 games he was pretty good. He had the nice little late second comeback in the Titans game. This game, he had his moments. He had his moments, but a lot of things he can fix up, especially on the whole, tucking the ball when you like about to run, like when he scrambles. Like usually we seen him scramble a lot, and normally he does his thing, but in this game he scrambles, gets hit from the back, loses the ball, and this was when they was in the red zone, or they were at least near the red zone, where if they didn't get it, if they got to 4th down, kick the field goal, get some more points on the board, but instead of getting 3, instead of getting 6, you end up with none. So that's the only thing I had against him on that game. He didn't throw any picks. He almost threw a pick. Once again, like this, he kind of lucked out again. So no picks this game. So yeah, Brady also played. To my prediction, I knew that he wasn't going to play a whole half. I heard people talking about he's going to play up until end of the second half. I mean, not second half, but into the second quarter. Play the whole half. I was like, at most he's going to probably play 1 quarter and then probably half of the second quarter, and that's pretty much what he did. Brady was Brady. Other than like 1 pass that he had to Myers, it was kind of bad. It was kind of behind him. Other than that, he was pretty good. He was 8 for 12. So, nothing against Brady. Brady was pretty much Brady. He just, did his thing while he was in there, and yeah. Only touchdown in the game came from a 1-yard punch in the end zone by none other than James Devlin. So James Devlin once again out here, just punching in the end zone. Probably gonna see a lot of that this season. I know we got at least about 4 of those last season. So I'd like to see some more of those while we're at it. Yeah, but Jarrett Stidham, 15 for 19. 134 yards. Like I said, he was pretty good. Average 7.1. No touchdowns, ran or thrown, but it's whatever. It's the only thing I had against him was the fumble. Just has to do a better job of taking care of the ball. He took some sacks. One was, it was a good one. He wasn't going to be able to go anywhere anyway. Another one, he could have probably at least found some way to throw it away, but it's whatever. Yeah, but he did pretty all right. As far as the running game, Sony Michel came out first. He did his thing. He had 10 carries, ran for 36 yards. He was looking pretty good. I wouldn't have known, like, if you would have told me he had any like knee problems or whatever. It sure didn't look like it to me. He was making some nice cuts, jukes, making people miss. He was doing his thing. Nick Brissett. Only thing I got about Nick Brissett is I don't see how he makes this roster. Only because you got Bolden. Sony, James White, Burkhead, Bolden, Damian Harris. That's 5 guys, and they usually don't carry like 6. I don't know if they. They just wouldn't really carry 6 running backs in my opinion. I think at the most they're going to carry is 5. And I don't really see Nick Brissett making it. Maybe they can get him on the practice squad. I don't know. I hope we don't lose him. I hope we can find a way to keep him somehow. But he's a strong runner, So I mean, it's pretty good when you can like get one of those guys. Hopefully, we can get him on the practice squad. Receiving. Oh man. You know by now how I feel about Jacoby Myers, and this game was no different. The guy had 12 targets, 7 receptions. I'm gonna say 2 of those balls thrown to him weren't really his fault. Probably more than that, but he did his thing. Once again, led the team in receptions, had 74 yards, averaged 10.6. So yeah, had a pretty good game. Didn't have any touchdowns this game, but yeah, he still did his thing. And I mean, there was if you look at what players were able to do in past preseason. They had this little article out where they were comparing Jacoby and Stidham to the past quarterbacks and past wide receivers, or just receivers in general, who did their thing in the preseason, and they were in some good spots on that list. And Jacoby Myers, I think if we calculate these 74 yards that he was able to grab, he probably jumped up. I would say he jumped up to the top, because I think now it's like 230 something as far as like yards in the preseason. So I believe he probably jumped up in the top in terms of just receiving yards. But yeah, this guy, he's gonna be something else. Philip Dorsett, 7 for 7, so great. He came in while he was in. He did his thing, 7 for 7, great, 47 yards, really good. I want to see more from Ryan Izzo. Hopefully, he can have a good showing in the fourth preseason game. But I mean, I don't know. He might. I mean, but look, here's the thing. He might find a way to get on this team, because Lance Kendricks went out with an injury. Ben Watson, he's already going to be out for the 4 weeks. But then he got the cheap shot to his head by Eric Reed. So, I mean, I don't know how long he'll be out. Not a lot of sureness in this tight end room. So he could find a way to make it in here. He just has to really impress the coaches. I don't know. He has 1 week left. I don't know if he can do it in time. But with all the things that's just going on right now with these injuries and all this, I mean, just unsureness, and as far as the position itself goes, he can find a way to squeeze up in there. But let me go ahead and get to defense. I mean, that's pretty much the name of the game. I mean, if it wasn't the Panthers playing poorly, or if it was, just us, having a strong defensive game, I'll probably lean more towards the Patriots having a strong defensive game. But I don't know. It was just a real sloppy looking game. But to keep them to 3 points, I mean, that's pretty good any way you slice it. Kamalu, Ofumba, however you say his name. I don't even know how to say his name that properly. But he led the team in tackles. He got him a good little cheat. I ain't gonna call it cheat because it makes it sound bad. But he got him a nice little sack at the end of the game. Quarterback Will Greer. Yeah, he was trying to kind of run around a little bit. I think Mike Pennell almost got him, but he missed out, and Kamala just came through and just ran into him and rushed him down to the ground. So I like that. That was pretty nice. Terrence Hall had five tackles, 3 assists. Muson, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. Now, here's the thing about him. He's been doing well. That's the thing. Like we seen him do well throughout these preseason games. The only problem is there's so the guys who are already pretty much like sure locks as far as the linebacker position. If we weren't strong in that position, I would have no doubt in my mind that he would find himself a spot, and probably as a starter if we didn't have so much depth right now. But you know, like I said before, when I was talking about the running backs, you look at the linebackers: Hightower, Van Noy, Juwan Bentley, Jamie Collins, Landon Roberts. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's another guy who I like, and would like to make the team, but I don't know. Maybe he can go on practice squad, but I don't think he's going to be able to, like, if they release him and they hope to get him on the practice squad, I don't know if he would last that long. I feel like somebody would grab him. I honestly do. I feel like somebody would grab him. Byron Coward, for the time he was out there, he's really been good this whole preseason, and that's the thing. Mike Pennell came in. When he came in, it was set in our minds that, okay, he's going to be one of the guys starting on the defensive line. It's going to be Michael Bennett, Mike Pennell, Lawrence Guy, and Deidre Wise. That's pretty much going to be those. That was the initial thought. But now we're not so sure. Like the way that Mike Pennell's been performing, just hasn't looked that impressive. And so you got a guy like Byron Coward. Excuse me, I'm butchering a lot of names tonight. A rookie, you know, and he's coming in and he's producing more and he's getting more time, and it's just not looking good for Pennell right now. So shout out to Byron, but I don't know. Pennell, I really do not know. As far as, you know, things that I really didn't like, you know, nobody likes injuries. Nobody wants them, and I would say that both teams had some good scares this game tonight, man. Damian Harris went out with an injury. Ben Watson went out with an injury. I remember seeing Calvin Noy got injured earlier in the game. He ended up coming back for a little bit. I thought it was a little serious, but he ended up coming back. Already, you know, Ben Watson, the cheap shot, so we don't even have to go over that. Lance Kendricks got hurt late in the game. Who else got hurt on our team, man? It was just a whole mess. And I really don't like it. You know, it's just that's the only thing I really don't like about preseason. I don't know. It can happen, like, injuries can happen at any time, but it just makes it more frustrating when, you know, these games don't really count towards the season and you losing, like, some really good players that, you know, could still be healthy once, you know, really, really need them. But yeah, just injuries all around. Another injury I would like to cover, even though this isn't Patriots, this is more dealing with the Panthers. Cam Newton, it's a big name. I'm pretty sure it's going to get discussed. If the injury's serious, because, you know, I believe it was like a foot thing, and he didn't come back to the game after that. I think it came from when he got sacked by, I believe it was after the Van Noy sack, I think. No, it was after the Adam Butler sack. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was after the Adam Butler sack that he got up and started limping and came out of the game. So that's going to be something to keep your eye on if you happen to be a Panthers fan watching this, or if you just, you know, a fan of Cam Newton. That'll be something to keep your eye on. I don't know how serious it is. I had to go see. I had to go, you know, look up the information later. But I'm just going from what I saw during the game. So he left with an injury, did not return. So that's something to keep your eye on. As far as special teams went, Stephen Gostkowski, he made, you know, one out of his 2 field goal kicks. The only thing I wouldn't really blame, the one that he missed on him, that one I would put on Jake Bailey for having the laces in. Everybody knows, if you watch Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, laces out. Kickers do not like laces in, please. It's just something you got to watch out for, man. Yeah, but he was pretty good. He made his extra point. He only had one extra point to make. Gunnar Olszewski. I hope I'm saying his name wrong. I feel like I'm butchering a lot of names tonight. But Gunnar, he is trying to make a case for why he deserves to be on this team. why he deserves a spot. And Berrios, I don't know. Berrios might have lost his chance. He had a good chance last week to try to do something, but I mean he didn't play his game. I think he's hurt. He pretty much lost whatever he was gonna do as far as his role on the team. Berrios lost that because Gunner pretty much is like, okay, this punting thing is mine. I know Edelman's the guy who we usually send out there for punting, but I think with him, dealing with some of these injuries and whatnot, he just coming off this thumb thing. He had the ACL tear a year before that, a year before last season, and he's 33, so you don't want to put your 33 wide receiver in like those type of positions. You would like to have a guy who's a little more fresh, who can take a little bit of that slack off of him. I'm not saying you don't have to get rid of, tell Edelman, stop returning punts, completely, but just have another guy come in who's able to like help him out on that. And Gunner, I feel, would be a great addition to that. For return, 63 yards, average 15.8. He has some really good returns. He was phenomenal in that part. So yeah, he's really making a case for himself. We'll have to see what everybody does with this last game coming up in the preseason. So everybody, just keep your eyes glued on that. I'm definitely going to be watching out for that. It's Patriots versus Giants, or if you want to say Giants versus Patriots, since it's going to be in Gillette Stadium. And yeah, we just going to have to keep our eye on that. But I think I pretty much covered everything that I really wanted to. Oh, one more thing. A few more sacks this game. Compared to last game. I already told you about Kamalo's sack. Van Noy had a sack. Bennett had a sack. It was nice to see Bennett get a sack. This is the first time we saw him play this preseason. So nice to see him go out there for a little while, get himself a sack, and then Butler, had the sack, which led to the Cam Newton injury. So yeah, overall, it was a good showing for our defense. Really good showing for our defense. We have to see what they do against the Giants. And another guy you want to keep your eye out on in that next game is Daniel Jones. People have been saying a lot of good things about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has been doing pretty good in this preseason. A lot of knocks were on Daniel Jones before he got in here, but apparently, he's proven some people wrong. But this is on the preseason, so let's not get too crazy out of here. But I'm going to go ahead, end the video off, come back next week once I do the review for the Patriots-Giants game. And then once that's over, we'll be moving into the regular season game. It'll just be pretty much just all business from here on out. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.